featuring next season. So, you know, we've got that in the show coming up. But first, Stratford Town are the team we're going to start today's show off. But, of course, like I mentioned in the intro, we have had lots of the first team on, lots of players, lots of the coaches as well. But this week, we're focusing on what they do in the footballing community. And I'm pleased to say, joining me in the studio is Chairman of the Colts section, Paul Slater, and Tim Green, who manages one of the Vets teams. Good evening, gents.
Evening.
Evening.
Great, lovely to see you, and thank you very much for coming in. So, Paul, let's start with you. For those who don't know, tell us exactly what Stratford Town Colts is.
Stratford Town Colts, we are the junior section of Stratford Town Football Club. We are a registered charity. We're run by volunteers, and we've got we've got about 300 players registered from under 8s to under 18s. We have a dedicated committee, including Tim. I think it's about 12 people. We have day jobs, but in the evening we're managers and we run the admin side and make sure that the teams are out on Saturday and Sunday.
Pretty full on then. It's great to see you've got so many youngsters. I guess, how long have you been doing this for, Paul?
For me, next year is my 30th year in grassroots football. I joined Stratford Town, I think it was 2014.
Wow. So when you joined in 2014, I guess you'd never would have realised how much it's come on. You know, like you said, you mentioned so many of the young teams you've got here at the club. It's great to see you young people thriving. You know, we see it all the time, young players starting so young and going through that pathway. You must be so proud of what you've done.
I am. I think those Stratford Town Football Club, Stratford Town Colts, I'm sure Tim will agree, we are a community, we are a family. You know, what I found when I joined as manager, I always expected to take my team up to under 18 and finish, but you know, a lot of the people, a lot of the managers, the kids, the committee, they become friends. And when you finish your time as manager, you want to stay with the club, which is what I'm doing now.
Tim, again, I got sent over loads of information of you both, and it seems both of you are so busy, first of all, which is just fair play to you both, so committed, which is great to see. Tim, tell us what you do at the club.
Yeah, so as Paul mentioned, I'm also involved in the Colts. I run a under-12s team, had them since under-8s. As you say, definitely keeps me busy. The lads are great fun. Just reached high school age, so brings some different sort of challenges at age. But anybody who's involved, we sort of play lots of grassroots teams around Warwickshire, and it's great to be involved. I've played football. Still trying to play football, but I played football, sort of joined Stratford over 30 years ago as a player, kids football. And as Paul said, a real community club, and wanted to get back involved and almost give something back after really football giving you so much over the years. You know, it's given me friendships, playing with, people that I've known now similar 30 years. And even managing some of their kids in football now. And it's...
bit of a circle there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great. And then, try and help out a little bit on the committee as well. Paul does a great job as chairman, and certainly done a great job. I've personally noticed a real shift in the club and the Colts working together, really providing a great atmosphere. If you ever, if anybody ever gets the chance to go up to Stratford, I'd encourage it. Home on Saturday as well, Thursday. It's a brilliant atmosphere to be up there. There's kids everywhere, like you say, with sort of having to look after 300 kids. It's an amazing atmosphere up there, and people wanting to be part of a local football club. It's good to be involved with.
It sounds amazing, and we were chatting off air. We've spoken a lot to Jed, who of course is the chairman, and he spoke so much over the last couple of years of making this a community club, and you'd agree, Paul, that it's not what happens on the pitch. Of course, Stratford aren't doing too bad. Of course, the manager departed a couple of weeks ago, and there's a lot of focus always on the men's team. But there is so much that Stratford and you guys are doing off the pitch as well. That is so important to the club as well, isn't it?
I think Jed has always said that the volunteers behind the scenes really keep the club going, but we do it because we enjoy it. And, for me, Stratford Town Football Club now is almost a second family. I'm probably down there 5-6 days a week. I want to be there. You get a lot out of giving time to the club. So, you can't really emphasise enough the community feel that Jed is, really pushing the club towards.
And I'm told you've got an over 50s team as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you looked at Paul there and not me.
I guess you help run it, Paul, as well. How's that gone down? Because, you know, in terms of walking football, it's so popular nowadays,
It's
isn't
not
it?
walking football, though.
Oh, wait, what?
It's
What?
we run. We're almost like
It's like a vets team,
We're
then?
almost like match of the day, but in slow motion.
Right, okay.
Over 50s football is the fastest growing sport in the country.
Yes.
And I just turned 50, probably not in very good condition, and was asked by the club to set up the over 50s team. We started out with 8 people, and we've grown over the last 8 years. We now have 35 members from pretty much all the local clubs around Warwickshire.
Wow.
I'm sure some of the lads are listening. It's not all about football. We have a great social life. We take part in Woody's quiz on a Friday night. We do a lot of work for charity matches, and we also venture overseas to Mallorca in May to take part in the International Veterans Tournament and really sort of push Stratford Town Football Club out into Europe.
Wow. Well, there you go. You know, it's getting them out, isn't it? It's great that, like I said, there's so much. We could chat for a whole hour about what you guys do at the club. And it's great to highlight some of the things you're doing. I know as well, Paul, you're a referee as well.
Yes.
How's that? Because I wouldn't wish anyone to be a referee.
It's not easy.
Yes, I know. That's probably the answer I was expecting to hear.
It keeps me fit.
Yeah.
And, you know, without referees, there is no football. I get great enjoyment watching the Stratford Town lads playing on a Saturday, playing on a Sunday. But the referees definitely earn their money. But it is a challenging role, unfortunately.
I'm going to say, of course, you both, you know, affiliated with Stratford Town, so I guess you try and go down on a Saturday. But are you both Sky Blues fans? Any of you?
Definitely.
Yes,
Yeah,
good.
yes.
Good. What do you think of Lampard? I know we're going off topic, but
It's early days. I think we're both massive Mark Robbins fans.
yes,
Still mourning his loss.
yes, of course, yes, but positive against Millwall. You know, it was
Positive. Hope Super Frank does a great job for Coventry, but still mourning the loss of Mark. So,
yes, absolutely, yes, absolutely. Well, Tim, you know, where do you see this growing? Because you know, your club at the minute is massive. 23 teams I've got here. You know, that is a job in itself. Where do you see this going, Paul? And Tim, let's start with you, Tim, first.
Yeah, I think a bit like you mentioned, Paul, with the over 50s. Jed, this season I'd been playing for a over 35 veterans team, and Jed, knowing us from being managers at Colts, a lot of us involved, asked us to join as a vets team this year. Because he wants to grow the club. And I think Jed is very clear. I know you've had him on the show, and very clear what he wants to do. And I think clubs need people like that, because he's got a clear vision of pulling us, you know, not just the first team. He wants it as a community club and different teams involved. So getting us involved as an over 35s, it just shows, I think he has big plans, and I think, you know, it needs support. Yeah, at the end of the day, be it by our sponsors, by our councils, by us, different people buying into visions of how far the club can go, really. And, you know, I'm not sure if Paul agrees, but it almost feels like we're probably at the start of the journey. And I think, as a club, and I think the possibilities are endless. Paul mentioned we've got 300 kids playing Colts football. Well, we'd love them all playing at the football club, but there's just not enough room for us. And we have to spread ourselves out through, you know, kindly people letting us use their pitches and spread out. But I know some of the vision is that we all play at the club, for example. But yeah, that takes a lot of people getting behind it and supporting it. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And Paul, you know, both of you mentioned Jed and the ambitions he's got as a chairman. You know, that must fill you with so much confidence that the person in charge has got this ambition, and all of you are working under that. That must drive you to want to push more.
It does. I mean, Jed's a massive personality. I mean, he's so much committed to football. Yes, it's a commercial venture, but, you know, he's a real footballing man. He comes out and watches the Colts play. His son plays for them. I think, you know, grassroots level, we could, if we had the space, we could have 500, 600 kids. I think the first team, I'm sure Jed wants to take Stratford Town to the highest level that we can.
It sounds great. Have you got any? I know you said you've got some really exciting plans. Any ones we can give early doors? Any exciting plans coming up, or nothing to share yet?
I can't give away all the secrets. We'll leave that to Jeff.
Yes, absolutely. I want to ask you both then. Again, like I said, lots of opportunities, I can guess, to volunteer with the Colts.
Yes.
If people are listening to this and want to learn more about the club, and maybe want to, maybe I've got a bit of spare time on a Sunday or a Saturday, want to help volunteer, Paul, how can they?
I think they can get in touch through the club or get in touch direct. We've got our own website. All the details are on there. Whether we're allowed to put our mobile numbers out there, I'm sort of happy to put that out there, whether I'm allowed to. But we're also always looking for sponsors as well.
Yeah.
We get by from, players' registrations, but donations and grants. So any support is always welcome.
Is funding? Do you get your funding from higher up, like external funding from the government? I know is that how? Not really.
The majority of the funding is through player registration fees, but also local grants.
Yes,
some football foundation money through the FA as well.
Yeah. Okay. And Tim, you've been doing it for a few years now, and you've heard how you can get involved. But what's your one bit of advice? Because you're a coach now. So what's your one bit of advice for someone that wants to maybe get into coaching? It's a great opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's simple actually. Just do it. It's I think. You often find I was a little bit of a reluctant volunteer at the start. Sort of said, I'll help. Put my hand up and sort of they bit my hand off, but I haven't regretted it once. So I think that would always be my advice. If you're in two minds to do it, just do it. And you get so much back out of it, which sounds a bit selfish, but obviously clubs always need volunteers, be it Stratford or any grassroots. They're always, we always need more people involved in football.
And Stratford back in action on Saturday. I was actually just looking at some of the guests we've had over the last few weeks. We've had a lot. So we've had Paul Davies, Chris Hussey, both excellent individuals at the football club. Spoke so highly of it. We've had Dan Lafferty. We've also had Callum Ebanks. He was great laugh, him. So I guess before you go, it's about getting yourself down on Saturday, St Ives Town at home. And Stratford are still in a good league position, aren't they? Of course, not a manager yet officially named, but it's not all done yet, is it?
No. I mean, I believe we're, 5th, 6th in the league?
Yeah.
So we're still in a really, really good position. Probably got our strongest squad ever. And I think in Callum, we've probably got the most exciting player in the league at the moment.
Yes, I know. He's definitely one to watch, isn't he? But guys, thank you very much for coming in, and I wish you all the best for the season. Everything really well done what you do with the club, because it's not easy running 23 teams. So thank you very much for coming in, and maybe we'll catch up maybe at the end of the season. Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much.